If we go back looking at the Bible itself, at Tanakh itself, what do we find there with reference to Rosh Hashanah? How does the Bible characterize this day? So interestingly enough, we can actually find a record of an actual celebration of Rosh Hashanah that historically occurred within the times of the Bible itself. You find that in the 8th chapter of the book of Nehemiah. A little background to this. Israel is coming back to the land after 70 years exile imposed upon them by Nebuchadnezzar. 70 years before this, the temple had been destroyed. But now, a few of the first pioneers are coming back to the land of Israel with Ezra and Nehemiah in an attempt to build a second temple. We hear about the events of a certain Rosh Hashanah when they actually came back. Nehemiah 7, let's start from there. And the 7th month arrived, and the children of Israel were in their cities. Now all the people gathered as one man to the square that was before the water gate. And they said to Ezra, the scholar, to bring the scroll of the law of Moshe, which Yahweh had commanded Israel. So they read the scroll. Ezra reads it to them publicly. He reads it to them from dawn all the way through high moon. Then the people began to cry. They were all crying when they heard the words of the Torah. Maybe they were crying because they felt that they weren't keeping the Torah well enough. Now, if you were Ezra or Nehemiah, one of the leaders of these people, and it was Rosh Hashanah, and the people were crying because they felt they weren't keeping the Torah well enough, they felt bad about that, how would you respond to those tears? I don't know about you, but if I was in their shoes, I would be totally delighted. It's a teacher's dream. It's the most amazing thing in the world. It's Judgment Day. That's what you're supposed to be thinking. It's what you're supposed to be feeling. But how did they respond to those tears? How did the leaders, how did Nehemiah respond to the tears of the people? Nehemiah speaks up and says to all the people, "This day is holy to Yahweh your Elohim. Neither mourn nor weep." For all the people were weeping when they heard the words of the law. And he said to them, "Go, eat fat foods and drink sweet drinks, and send portions to whoever has nothing prepared. For the day is holy to Yahweh. And do not be sad, for the joy of Yahweh is your strength." Now, how do we understand this? What is he telling them? It seems like there's only two possibilities here. One, either Nehemiah doesn't believe it's Judgment Day. He just doesn't. Or Nehemiah does believe it's Judgment Day, but his idea of Judgment Day is very different than what we might have expected. I think that the latter possibility is in fact the case. Nehemiah understood that this is Judgment Day, but his idea of what Judgment Day is a day to be celebrated, not to be dreaded. If we can understand what he understood, maybe for the first time we wouldn't dread the day also. Maybe for the first time we could discern in the day some real meaning that touched our lives rather than simply the awful fear of brimstone and hellfire. Join us in the Scholars of Kingdom of Kings as we journey to try to discover the Rosh Hashanah we never knew was there. Click on the link in the description box to join our 3 series of the Fall Feast lectures.